what's up guys, welcome back to this channel. So today I've got another exciting video for you, a long waiting video that everyone's been waiting for. I hope so. And today I've got a special guest here. I've got Abena O. So Abena is a YouTuber. She's got her own channel and she mostly talk about relationship and things. I'm not gonna go into it. She's gonna tell us more about what she does. And today's video is, as you can tell from the title, we're gonna be talking about mostly relationship and all that stuff. So if you want to keep watching and you want to know more, stay tuned and we're gonna get right into it. But I'm gonna get Abby to introduce herself to you and tell you more about her and what she does on YouTube. Abby.
Thanks, Heaven. My name is Abby, Abena, but known as Abena O, my channel. On my channel, I talk about relationships, I talk about social issues. I just basically share my thoughts and experience on different subject matters around relationships.
Yeah. Abby is very good. Personally, I feel like she knows more than me. Mostly when I watch your video, I'm like, that is so true, man. She is so right. I'm always like, oh man, like I wish I knew those points. But you always give great points, and like, I'm saying it as if like I really mean it.
Thank you.
So today I have a couple of questions for you. So Abby is currently, I would say, you mind if I say you're single?
I'm unmarried, yes.
Yeah. Well, she's unmarried. I don't want to say something about. Well, she's unmarried.
Yes.
Is that right? And I am currently married, as you probably, if you've been around, you would know. And so I thought I'd reach out to Abby and just talk about things from a different perspective, from her angle of seeing things regarding relationship and from my angle of seeing things with relationships. So I have some guidelines here, questions that I've written down. I mean, and by all means, if you're not comfortable about talking about it, just let me know. Give me a wink and I'll change the topic.
Alright,
And I'll be asking you, and also if I could probably get the same what should I say, respond back. Maybe is this something you would want to hear from my? So it's more like a chit chat about from your view and my view.
Yeah.
So we're both communicating about the same thing.
Yes.
All
Just
right.
Different angles. Yeah.
Okay, my first question that I have today, which is, I think it's a very, very common question. Everybody, I don't think I've ever have the correct answer to this question, but I'll ask you anyway. Do you think you need love to marry a man or woman?
Absolutely, yes. Love is definitely essential. However, is love enough to get married? I would say no. But it definitely comes to play, because if you're going to be spending the rest of your life or most of the rest of your life with this person, you should at least love them.
Yeah. That is so true in a way, but then I feel like these days a lot of love comes in different ways, form and shape. I don't know if I can say that about it. So it's like you have to somehow pause and evaluate what kind of love you're looking for to get into marriage.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I mean?
I get what you mean. I think these days what's happened is a lot of women are becoming self-aware.
Yeah.
You know, we're beginning to understand what it is that we need from a relationship, versus back in the day where the men pretty much decide what you need.
Or the family.
Or the family decides. You know, so I think that's what it is. I think now we're more aware of what love means to us, and we're not willing to just settle for whatever that looks like love.
No, it's so true. Yeah. So from your perspective, you think it's very important?
I think it's important. Yeah, it's important. But I'm not going to marry somebody just because I love them. That's enough.
That's so true, because I don't know. I feel like there's more in getting married part. I feel like is you need way more than love to be married. Which I can
imagine.
I feel like it's just you need way more than love, and it's so true what you said with your point. And my other question is, it's not really a question, but in the whole relationship saying, do you think it's possible to fall out of that love? Like, as a single person, as a married person, I'm just gonna tell you yes, because I have experienced it. But as a single person, from your view, like, do you think it's possible?
Well, I've only been in relationships. I've not actually been married before. But from a relationship point of view, I'd say yes. Also, it's possible, and a lot of the times, more often than we're willing to admit, we don't love the person the way we did when we first got together with them. But once again, if there is more than love in the relationship, for example, I guess there's a whole list of things that keep a relationship, like security, stability, things like that. When you have other things in the relationship that the relationship can survive on, I guess you're willing to overlook the fact that the love has died out, decreased, diminished, however you want to put it. But it is very possible that the way that you love somebody over time will changes.
And I think, like, in our generation now, that is mostly the problem, where you find a lot of male and female. That's where I feel like that's where cheating comes in, because the moment you I feel like, I don't love this person anymore, and then you start, let me look out somewhere else, and whoever is the next available person that gives you that attention, you realize that you're loving that person, and then it comes down to, and then you start questioning yourself, is it possible that you can love two people? You know how you've had that, people like young, like I've had that question being asked before. Where like, is it possible that you can love two people? But then what I feel like what has happened is, you did love that person, and then something happened, you got distracted, feel like you don't love that person anymore, and then you start getting distracted with somebody else, and then you start liking that other person, and then now you can't let go of this person because you feel like, but I once loved that person, there's something there, and then it comes down to, do you think you can love two people at the same time?
You know what, Heaven? I think love, the way I look at love, it's such a strong emotion that I don't think I can feel the same way about two people at the same time. That's me. I think a lot of the times we mistaken love with excitement. You may love somebody. The only way you love, you think you love two people at the same time is because you actually genuinely love one, and you're excited about the other person, such that it feels like that excitement
feels like you love two people
for love. Because as women, a lot of the times, if we're going to look outside, it's going to be for something that we're not getting. Unlike men, it's going to be for something that we're not getting from this other person. So sometimes, or let me say most times, it's the excitement that we no longer feel with the person that we're with.
So it's not actually love.
I don't believe so.
So, like, I hope you're getting a good point from it, and this is like really, really, even me, like I've questioned myself a lot about that. It's not like I'm trying it, but I'm always thinking, like, is that possible for you to love somebody else? Like, can you love two people at the same time? And what you just said, it actually makes a whole lot of sense. Like, I'm learning.
Oh, please. Thank you.
So my next one is it easy with cheating? This is more with cheating. Is it easy to leave when dating? Or is it hard to leave when you're in a marriage situation in terms of cheating? Like, so is it easy to leave if you're in that dating stage? Do you think it's a lot more easier to leave when you're in a marriage stage? And I feel like I know I think I know what you're gonna say, but I think I'm gonna have a contradiction about it.
Of course, of course.
So, with my do you get my question?
I do.
Yeah.
Is it easy, or being that I can only speak from a relationship point of view, is it easy to leave a cheating partner? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, in a relationship, and then if you're married, which one do you think is easier? I know you're gonna say, well, obviously we're not
relationship.
Yeah.
I think it's much easier to leave a relationship that is full of cheating versus the marriage, but it differs. It's based on the individual and the standards, and I guess that they have. It differs, but personally, it's easy for me to leave. I would leave.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about it. I would leave.
Yeah.
Because the reason that makes cheating such a big deal to me is the fact that it's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when people cheat, they don't come out. You know, you have to find out before, even at that, their ego will still not allow them to be fully honest about the extent of the cheating. Yeah. You know, it's bad enough, you know, to know that your partner cheated on you. Yeah. You know, but then if they have to start to lie about who they cheated with and how the circumstances around the cheating, you know, it's not fair on anybody, you know, to be subjected to that kind of treatment. So most of the time it's not the act in itself, you know, because if you think about it, if you were not how do you call it, if you're not attached to the hip with your partner, and you didn't know your partner from the time that they were born, of course they would have had a couple of partners before you. Yeah. You know, so it's not necessarily the fact that your partner has had sex with somebody else that makes it hard to deal with. You know, it's the fact that they were not able to be honest with you. And of course the fact that you guys are together at that time. You know, so I think it's complicated, but personally, I believe. Yeah.
That is definitely a good point, but then you're gonna have some female who are gonna be like, but what if I've invested so much in this relationship? And most female, obviously when it comes to dating relationship, in most part their end goal is to get married. And most female think, oh, I'm gonna strive to get that goal, which is to end up getting married regardless of what happens. So it's like, I've wasted so much time in this relationship. My end goal is to get married, so I'm not just gonna leave it now just because of one cheating. I feel like if once we get married, he's not gonna do it again.
I mean, Heaven, you're married, and you know that marriage doesn't change anyone.
Yes. And then, so when it comes to the marriage part, because I'm trying to, is it easy to live with? When it comes to the marriage part, it's mostly, obviously, this is obvious for everybody. You're gonna be like, of course it's hard because there's kids involved, there's family involved, there's whatever, there's you know, properties and things. But, and then I'm gonna speak for myself. For me, I feel like the cheating part, when we're dating, that's something we can walk around and fix it in some cases. This is just in some cases, but I feel like once we get married, if you think you can do something like that, for me, I don't think it's worth the sacrifice anymore.
So you leave?
I would say I will leave. Because I don't, because most people are gonna be like, oh, you've never experienced it before, wait until you get to that part. But for me, I feel like it's enough sacrifice, enough staying in the marriage, and once you break that, you know, once you break that, it's like it's very hard.
I would say, like, I personally have so much disgust for guys who cheat.
That are married, or that are
married or unmarried.
I think the unmarried ones are even more.
The reason is because, like, who do you think you are? You know, like, at the end of the day, we're both making a compromise. You know, trust me, if let's say I married a guy or something, believe me, if I had taken a little bit more time, I may have landed a man who was nicer looking than you,
Yeah.
richer than you. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, we're all making a compromise
Yeah.
to be with each other. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So how dare you think that you would make me feel like I'm not enough to the point where
you have to go and
you
get
have to go to somebody else. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, in all honesty, nobody's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm compromising to be with you.
Yeah.
If I'm compromising to be with you, you should compromise to be with me.
I'm gonna stop you right there because I know that most guys will be like, well, I married this woman, she was hardworking, she was beautiful, she used to look after herself, she used to do this. All of a sudden now she doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I can't leave because of my kids.
Yeah.
I just have to stay there, but I want to make myself happy. Like,
that's selfish.
to be honest, I know that, but I know this is wrong me saying it. I kind of feel bad too if a guy has to go through that. You have some females that genuinely just give up on every. Like I know you're gonna be like, oh well, the guy should be there, not give up on, you know. But then what happened to those guys that try to get their woman to be back, but then the woman's like, nah, I'm comfortable where I am, what I am, and how I look now, and what I'm doing now. Like, what do you in those? I think I'm going on the guy side of it.
No, it's okay. It's
like
in
those kind of things. What do you do? Like, you have some female that are just, you know what I mean.
But you just start now though. Like, if a female doesn't care about herself, she's never cared about herself. And if you look at it, if you really think about what I'm saying, you realize there's a little bit of truth in it. Yes, of course, there are times where
it doesn't make it right because your woman is going off balance and losing herself. It
It
doesn't make it right for you to go and cheat. But then you have some guy that would be the argument.
a lot of the times it is, because men are visual. You know, men like they like to look at nice things. They like it's who they are. You know, so of course if you're not keeping up with what's going on, and of course it's going to. But the thing is, if I feel like cheating is a character thing.
Yeah.
You know, I personally know one or two people who have never cheated.
Yeah.
Despite of the fact that they have so many reasons to,
An opportunity.
you know, and they may have, you know, done one or two things here and there that were not particularly appropriate, but at least they didn't go the whole 9 years at the very least. You know, and of course every man, I'm pretty sure if you've been married for over 5 years, I'm very sure cheating would have crossed your mind.
Yeah.
Even if you've been dating for more than 2
And
years,
it's not just for the men,
sure
the
cheating would have
females
crossed your
too.
mind. Yeah.
Like the females too. It's like you married to someone for that long. You can't tell me for 5 years you haven't seen a nice looking.
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
That's why I always say that as a woman, self-care is very important.
Yeah.
You know, self-care stems from the word self, caring for yourself, for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's not for your husband.
It's for yourself.
It's not for somebody. Like, you're not caring for yourself so you can meet somebody and relax. You know, it's for yourself.
That's why I have
whatever
self-care.
Whatever you take care of becomes better. You know, if you're a woman, you need to be able to, you know, I always say you need to have, if you go into my phone, I've got a note on there. It says rituals. Yeah. And it's not like I'm sacrificing people. No, I'm just saying it's, I've got facial, let's say twice a month, nails, eyelash extensions, things like that. You know, and these are things that I don't care who you are as a man. I don't care how you feel about it. I'm going to do it regardless.
Yes, they're important to me.
It's mine.
Some guys, you have some females. My husband doesn't think it's important, but it should be important to you.
It's my ritual. Yeah. Some guys, every Saturday they play football. It doesn't matter who they get married to. It doesn't matter who they get in a relationship with. It's something that they have set aside to do for themselves to make themselves feel better. Yeah. You know, so I don't in any way judge. I mean, I'm not in any way condoning the fact that it's okay to cheat because your wife or your woman let herself go. Yeah. But you as a man, it's also your responsibility to choose the right kind of woman. Yeah. You know? Yeah. You need to make sure that you know this person to a certain level before you end up committing to her. You know, if you're a man and you meet a woman and you don't properly date her, you don't properly court her, and you end up doing things with her that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And situations come up that join you guys together for life. That's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's your fault for not properly taking the time to get to know who this woman is. If 10 years, 20 years down the line, she ends up being something that she isn't.
Yeah.
Hey, it had always been there. You just didn't take the time to properly look at it.
But people change along the way, though, which is a major issue in every relationship. People change, and I believe so. I know you're gonna be like, it's something that's probably always been there. You didn't notice. Maybe I didn't notice. Maybe that person didn't notice. It's always been there.
Maybe you did. Maybe you just decided to turn a blind eye to it. Sometimes we don't realize the severity of certain traits until it actually becomes a problem. For example, I always say this. This is a very common example. You're on a phone call. You're talking with a guy that you're probably dating or you just met or something.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I'm gonna call you back.
Okay.
He doesn't call you back.
Yeah.
In the moment, it feels like, we end up making excuses for him. Like, okay, you know, maybe he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Maybe something came up. And maybe he did fall asleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he was doing anything bad. But the fact that he didn't... Sorry. The fact that he didn't feel the need to, first of all, honor his word. Second of all, be truthful about what it is that, you know, made him not call back. Those are all traits that eventually would blow up.
Yeah.
You know, so honestly,
in the long run, it will blow up.
I really believe like everything, every trait that you will be complaining about a guy later in life had always been there. Like this is basically a guy who cannot be honest about something as little as a callback.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. It might seem little at that point, but in the future, it might end up into a massive thing. You know? And that's why most of us young people don't follow up on that little thing.
We don't.
Yeah. So. Anyway, we could talk about this all day. So my other question that I have is, do you think your partner's friend matters when you're dating, or do you think it matters after marriage? Because this question is most of the time when you're just in a dating relationship, it's his friend. I met this friend before I started dating him, so you don't really pay attention to it. And then when you become married, you want to change things. And then you start picking. You start. I want my partner to have this kind of friend. It's like, so you think it matters when you're dating, or it becomes more important when you get married?
Everything matters, Heaven. I'm serious, and that is why it's so easy for me to walk away from people and relationships, because I'm not perfect. Yeah. But awareness is key. You can't change something that you don't know exists. You know, if what I'm trying to tell you, you don't understand that it's a problem, that's step one. Yeah. To not, nothing is going to change. You know, the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like with guys, there's nothing like, it's cool. If you're not cool with it, let the guy know that you're not cool with it. Yeah. You know, there's no need to be coy. It's like we're always putting up this false persona in order to get a guy to marry us. Yeah. As if marriage is the prize. Okay, so you get married today. Yeah. And then what? You know what I mean? To be honest, nobody's giving a trophy for married people. No offense. No. But
that's a commitment that you've chosen to make for yourself. You're not doing it as a charity or any.
And there's no prize to be won. I always say, even the Bible says, look, two is better than one. But I've seen a lot of twos that are worse than one. I'm sorry.
You don't understand.
I've seen a lot of twos that are worse off than one. Yeah. So are you fulfilling scripture, or are you fulfilling yourself? You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, back to your question. At the end of the day, if you're not cool with something, let the guy know. Look,
right from
I'm not
the beginning.
Cool with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing like, it's cool. it's fine.
Your friends are your
because
friends.
whatever you allow is what is going to continue. If you let him believe that it's okay from the start to have, friends who have inappropriate conversations, and I'm gonna chip this in. I don't know the kind of audience that you have, but my audience are pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's fine. My audience are.
See,
They'll be fine.
Someone.
You asked for a relationship talk you get.
I had someone open up to me about a situation they were going through in their marriage. This wasn't a relationship, it was a marriage.
Yeah.
This girl said she saw a text message on her husband's phone, and the husband was pretty much asking to go down on a girl.
Yeah. The husband was asking the wife that. Sorry.
When she confronted him, he said that his friends dared him to do that.
Yeah, so you told me about.
Yeah, so when she confronted the husband about the reason for the message, he said his friends dared him to send that message to somebody. First of all, even it may be a lie, it may be something he's just saying to cover up, but he indeed did have friends like that. Like, they've got a secret group on WhatsApp where they share inappropriate messages and photos
stuff
and
like
videos.
that really do. I only see those kind of things in movies.
Look, I didn't ask for that information. She volunteered it, so I'm pretty sure it's accurate. So a man's friends. There's a saying that we are the average of the 5 people that we keep around us.
Yeah.
If the 5 closest people to your partner or your husband are no good, and your husband is somewhat better than them, chances are that he's hiding a part of himself from you. There's something about him that you will soon discover, and you realize that he's exactly like his friends. Yeah. So it does matter. If you're not comfortable with his friends, I always say there's always 2 options. You address it or you exit. But there's nothing like it's cool, because it's not cool.
It's not cool.
It's important that you take your life seriously if you're gonna be with this, unless of course you're just chilling. Yeah. But if you actually really want to be with this person, then nothing is ever cool. If you're not okay with it, you confront it or you make an exit.
Yeah. That's really good, Abena.
How about you?
Yeah, shoot some questions to me too.
I mean, in a marriage, let's say, now you're married, so do you think you have a say in the friends that your husband keep as a wife?
Yeah, I do, and he also do have a say. He has a say with all of my friends that reasons that are sometimes they're very important reasons, and sometimes they're just and then it's something that we've talked about. So if my husband goes, I don't like this friend, I don't just, you're just being whatever. I will rather make him understand why I'm friends with this person and what I'm getting from that person. And then that way he evaluate, is it important or not? Like, do you get what I mean? Yeah. And then I think same for him too. I'll say, I don't like this friend because of this reason. And then he would come back in months or years time and said, you know what, you were right about that person. So it's like he's not like he's so happy with all of my friends. He has said, I don't like certain person, but mostly what I do, I don't just dismiss it and say, they're just friends. Neither does he. He mostly come, I'm friends with this person for this reason, and this is what I'm getting from this person. That's why I'm still. And then I have to say, it's important or it's not important. So
that's healthy. That's a healthy way to relate.
Yeah. So it's like more like balancing, because when we are both aware of what that friend is, then that way we'll be able to know, okay, I am gonna relax and I'm comfortable enough that my husband is not gonna take this character from this person, because I've already pointed those out and he's already like let me know his reason and what he's getting from that friend. Yeah. So I don't know if it makes sense to because like you said, it is a very important aspect in a relationship, friends, because they can break it or they can fix it, and 90% of the time you find out that they're breaking it. So you have to have really good control. You got anything for me? Because my next one is gonna be hard, so. Just thinking about it.
I'm thinking.
Well, think about it. We'll come back to it. Okay, so my next question, right? I know you're like, yeah, but it's very important, which is sex and intimacy. Oh. I've been looking at my paper like, it says, well, this one is everybody always want to know sex before marriage. What do you think? What's your intake about it as a single person? And sex before marriage. I know I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh no, you shouldn't, because
look.
Yeah, so it's like, and we've also,
the fact that I'm doing it doesn't make it right.
Yeah,
don't
so
do
it's
it.
like
don't do it still.
But like, yeah, I know. I'm not perfect. I have done it before marriage, so I don't know about you. But it's a very important thing. It's a very, very important, and it's a broad range of topic. Like, you can never get the answer with it, because there's always but, and then there comes going back to your Bible and going back to the spirituality side of it.
I think timing, when it comes to sex, I think what really makes the difference is not the act itself, it's the timing. You know, because look, no matter how you want to look at it, men value what they earn or what they work for.
Yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day,
I have to laugh when you like, men value what they earn,
what they earn,
what they work for.
And what they work for. It's true. It's true. So it's not, if you look at it.
So pretty much, I've been saying they have to work for it. And then that's the only way to value it.
That's the only way to value it. So it's not whether they value it, it's not whether or not they do it with you, it's when they do it with you, and of course, how soon or how not soon they do it with you. You know, so I mean, obviously, I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but I'm not a virgin, so I do have quite a.
I'm not sure you guys can tell. By the look of it. Abby. She's like, I'm not sure
if you guys can tell.
I can't.
Maybe the camera can
one of our eyes does, and the other one is saying something else. Yeah.
Okay, go back. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but like, I'm not a virgin, so I don't have.
You don't have a manual book.
Exactly. You know, but most of my issues in relationships have not had to do with the fact that I had sex with a person, or I did not have sex with a person. Like I said, with sex, it's always the timing. As a woman, I believe that you should be comfortable with who you're having sex with. You should be comfortable with them. You should trust them. Because trust me, a lot of complications can arise from sex. From emotional bonding, you can get pregnant. Soul ties if you're spiritual. You know, it's just so many issues that the least you can do is to be able to trust the person that you're doing it with. So that in that case, if anything comes out, like if any issues arise, at least both of you are going to be in it together. You know.
But a lot of females are gonna be like, but I gave my everything to this person, like you said, I trust that person, I this, but then they end up leaving anyway right after sex. So it's like, where do you stand? And then it goes back to, I mean, let me just say it from my point of view. I'm gonna say it, even though I've done it, I'm not excluding from it. But if I was to give anybody an advice, it's hard anyway. It's not possible these days. I mean, let's be honest, it's not. But if you were to give it, if I was to tell my daughter, I'll tell her, try not to have sex before marriage. Which is the honest thing you get from anyone. But the fact that these days it's impossible.
Practically.
But and then, but it's something I would say don't. In so many ways,
I'll tell my daughter to wait.
Yeah.
And I'll tell her to do it when she's ready.
Yeah.
Because I want her to be able to have a conversation with me before or even after she's done it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you tell them don't do it before you're married and you give them like a whole list of spiritual reasons why, they may end up hiding things from you. You know. But if you let them know that, look, it's not the fact that you're gonna, it's not having sex in itself that I'm worried about. It's the fact that I don't want you to be broken afterwards. You know, I don't want you to feel used and taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So I want you to be able to do it in your own time. Of course, you have to make sure she's over 18 before you have this conversation with her.
Yeah.
You know, just try and let her understand that, look, it's your body.
Yeah.
It's your rules. You are the prize. So you do it when you are ready. And
when
that
you're
way,
ready.
you don't necessarily have too many regrets if it doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
With regards to what you said earlier about girls saying that I gave him my all and then still left after sex. If a guy leaves you after sex is all he wanted. There's no two ways about it.
That's just explained.
You are the one that misread or probably even moved too fast with him. A guy would always tell you. Sorry.
So I was saying, right? I've had this question, Abby, where I've had friends that's telling me it's important to try things before you get married, because once you get married, you're in it for forever. What happens if I have got something that's not right? And then if you're gonna apply to our everyday life, if you buy, for example, if you buy this dress and then you feel like there's a little ripped on it, you can take it back to the shop.
Absolutely.
But then
you can't take marriage
back to the shop. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
True.
So
No
it's
exchange, no refund.
So Abby was telling me a story off camera. I just thought you should hear this.
I'm saying, as for me, I need to know. I know what the Bible says.
Yeah.
I know what society says. But for me, I need to know. There are certain things that are
is fair.
very important to me, and sex is one of them. Even in an ordinary relationship, I need to, I'm here for a good time. You understand? Not a long time. Like they say, if it's going to be short, however long it's going to be, I want to have a good time. And sex is something that's very important to me. But anywho, I was telling, I'm having a story off camera about someone I know who got married a virgin. So which means she didn't have sex with a guy that she got married to or anyone else for that matter.
She didn't try nothing. She didn't know. She didn't know.
Nothing. You know, she got married to this guy a few months into the marriage. You know, found out this guy is extremely insensitive and weird. Sometimes she would be in pain, she would be crying, and this guy is like pounding her. You know, like I'm you know, like that is something that I would need to know.
Yeah. Imagine you have to live with that for the rest of your life.
You can't tell your parents or your pastor that this is the situation at home. You know, because they'll tell you some women are even begging for their husband to even pound them. They are not getting it. You're lucky.
You have that, but then you're not there. Like, you don't know.
You know, Evan, and I also know a girl back home who broke up with a guy. Like, they were actually going to get married.
Yeah.
But she broke up with the guy because apparently also the guy was very insensitive in bed. You know, like he had been blessed with a really, you know, big instrument.
Yeah.
And he was very inconsiderate. You know, like he would continue to pound, and then he had like the most ridiculous explanation. He'll tell you that according to science, if a woman can push out the head of a baby, she should be able to take anything.